So our last section is hyperbolas. So just to kind of walk through what we've been doing so far. So our first one, we looked at a parabola, and these are called conic sections. It's when you're cutting out a piece from something else. So we did a parabola, a circle, an ellipse, and now we're doing a hyperbola, which is kind of like two parabolas. So we're cutting through both parts of the conic section. Okay, so here they are in our two-dimensional graph. The graph here, we call it transverse along the x-axis. So that means there's two vertex points, one positive, one negative on this graph, and then the parabola opens up. So we have the focus, which is C still, and then the B value kind of helps us show this box, and that helps us graph. So it tells us how far they curve. And here's our equation. It's x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. And then if we're transverse along the y-axis, our vertex and our foci are on the y-axis, and the b values are on the x. And that equation is y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals 1. So like I said before, the vertex values, there's still a. And this time, to find the foci, because of where they're at, we actually use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that should be familiar. And then again, we're not always centered at 0, so here's our equations when we shift. And they look a little different than what we're used to. So we'll just keep referring back to these as we come through our problems.